Bueno, hola, buenos días a todos. Gracias por
Everybody, thank you very much for being here, for getting up early after last night party. It's not a consolation prize because we only slept for 2 hours. So we'll try. We are gonna try to give the best of ourselves. My name is Manu Quintans. I'm the malware researcher, and I'm a guru for malware. And I want to introduce you, Frank Ruiz, and we're going to start. So, firstly, I want to give you some pieces of advice, some advice. Let's explain it this way. We are a bit tired of hearing the words cyber soldier, cyber weapons, cyber war, cyber warfare. So we decided to change the word cyber by shell. We can say shell soldiers, shell warfare, shell weapons. So cyber turns into shell. So sorry for the simultaneous interpreters, but we interpreters will find the right word. So let's move on to the index. As you can see on screen, I want to sum up very briefly what we know about the cyber crime, the shell crime. Let's go back and through reality and review the data, and let's understand the shell crime activities. Let's go back to and review what happened in 2013. Let's eat some reality bites. Let's see some shell crime evolutions, 2013, 14, new trends at shell crime, new examples, and targets on shell crime infrastructures, and our viewpoints and standpoints about the whole theme and the shell crime. Let's talk about how the shell criminal people operate, and we have also prepared a demo time. What we know about cybercrime or shell crime. Many of you have read news about shell crime companies with blogs. This news don't. It doesn't tell the truth. The data that they give us are not correct. So let's project some news coming from the media. They need some nuances and subtleties. This is a news from a last year started talking about a bonnet which infected many Arab computers and intercepted almost 27,000 messages. Is the good news. But we need to nuance the fact that 27 messages were infected and intercepted. This viral and well-documented news, it was checked by us, and we discovered that this shell attack really intercepted only 500 messages. There was another table with approximately 25,000 registers reposted from the mobiles infected. You can't take them as SMS. These news are slightly inflated and manipulated, even though they are telling more or less the truth. We also have another case which is just the opposite. This piece of news, there's nothing inflated or burst. This news is about a bonnet with 2 million credentials at the database. It's presented as something unusual, and they didn't find it previously. That was their point, and they tell people, okay, you can find if your credentials were inside this bonnet. These 2 million people credentials bonnet is nothing surprising for us because there are many bonnets with thousands and thousands of credentials registered. In this very case, this bonnet, we've found out bonnets with almost 17 million credentials. So don't create this alarm trendy topic among us. So this news is not related to banking malware, which is the thing we are dealing now. This news is about APT is now on screen because it exemplifies how these news are inflated. A good written, formatted report tackling a politician issue increases a values company because this inflates this verse, this news. We are not against this, but it's something important for us to comment it on. Another important interesting thing to comment is this website from Brian Krebs. Yesterday, they told us to say Brian Crab. It makes no sense now, but won't make the effort. This guy in 2010 said that Zeus author was to connect the source code with Spanish authors, and they are going to create a super Trojan for against banking. But between 2010 and 2014, we didn't see this super banking Trojan virus going on. So this diagram shows searches in Google through the Trojan malware against banking. This gives us what is the Trojan news in banking. Zeus occupies the whole chart, then Citadel and Espayal. This is not a real coincidence. These are the Trojan bands sold for the audiences, and the news companies have talk about, but there are other which are not seen, which is are not represented as small ones, but the banking fraud done by these bonnets can be equal to 2,000 Zeus bonnets. This is about the noise going on, but it doesn't match reality about this fraud. It's time to go back to reality after this trip. What are we seeing currently at the news? We see like gangsters, bands with many shell criminal appears on the news, even in bloggers as well. Brian Krebs, Nacho Nachev, Digital, and go on.
Lo llamamos como una especie de círculo de researchers que pues
a circle of researchers which manipulate the reality of news. They get together, the three of them get together, and they write an article and say, okay, let's create this little article and start hanging around the whole scenario. We consider what can we do? Let's go back to the past and let's try that the Krebs parents and fathers to get together. Because this is really, I can't stand it. Let's continue. Let's understand what are the cybercrime activities. Let's understand them. We prepared it in several layers. This is the lower layer inside the criminal organizations. There are the bad organized, the middle well organized, and the good organized. In the lower layers, you can find forums where you can exchange and share rats, patches of crimeware with low quality and low impact. These are undetectable forums, even though the news is released. This low cost and low quality forums are not repercutable. They don't have repercussion as a criminal organization. But they're a starting point. We also have a second layer with forums and accesses which are slightly higher. They start getting professionals. They are getting resources to access more things. They are selling and buying services. We can find VPNs, sales, anonymous accesses, duplications of cars, DC, everything imaginable. And these are two examples of two forums of a slightly higher forum. Then when we move on to the third layer, here we can see most of the researchers on the third layer is very difficult to get infiltrated because they are very close forums. On layer 1 and 2 you can find the most researchers infiltrated, but on layer 3 it's impossible to find real researchers, people not related to cybercrime community. There are several forums on the third layer. We can find the Massa forum is a very close one. It's very difficult for us to access Massa forum because you have to be backed up by a permanent member. You have to be voted to access Massa. If this new member has some trouble with the administrator, somebody inside the forum is expelled from it, both the voters, both the inviters, and the Ferrero himself is expelled, it's get fired. For in Masa, you need a certificate from the client. You need to enter the password given by the foreign organizer, and they also have a typical coordinate banking system where they give you a long word and they force you to introduce you letter A to Z and number 1 to 11 whenever you are authenticated. It's difficult for us to know about this Masa firm because it's difficult to access. Very few people access this firm. On this snapshot is the only screen for Masa firm on the internet because we really don't know who uploaded this Masa firm on the internet. They say that a spy author, Zeus. Author has passed on all the clients and project to them, and they will take care now of these Zeus clients from now on, because the Zeus author was with the authorities at their neck, and the spy took it from it. So the spy author was arrested by the police, but Zeus author is now free. Spy version, by searching their detection, you could find Mazafata in the code with it's like slightly reference to this firm. By configuring this thing, you found the Mazafaka in one of the strings, to our surprise. This is another forum. This is closed. It's not so restricted as Masa is, but it requires certificate of client and password. It has the typical fact that one access member, if he rip off another criminal or report scripts, or this cut off red-handed, all the voters who invited this guest are also get fired. These are very close cyber criminal gangs. We're talking about the industry of cyber crime. Because these cyber criminal people started in 2004 and 2005. They are self-sufficient. They don't need to follow it and rely on the cyber criminal industry. They're for the criminals underneath. This is giving them a lot of good reputation for. If you want to access Masa, you don't need votes. Masa people are happy to have this kind of people in their firm. We can see another names, Z2Peak and other names you can see on screen. For you to get an idea of what is going on, we have created a collage with the 4 layers. Lastly, the very first layer, the green one, even though there are cyber criminal bands, shell gangster, they also resort to external services. Instead of being disclosed, they open slightly to the exterior, outside this gang, for them to keep a cyber criminal infrastructure. It implies to have a lot of money and time, so they have to outsource their services, which is slightly is good for us to detect them. Let's now comment on what happened last year, what events took place last year, 2013, and let's prepare a timeline. It was the very first year in which we didn't found any new banking Troya, except another variant of Zeus. Steamlink was arrested in January. This guy, okay, my business is business. Punch was also arrested, which is the author of Black Hole Exploit Kit. This is one of the exploit kit which made our heads nuts, with a lot of media repercussion among the criminal cyber gangs. It was arrested last October. So this Silk Road was also shut down by the FBI. Silk Road owners was arrested. There were even though some spin-off from Silk Road. There was also the bridge target, and finally we'll talk about what is going on here. And the Liberty Reserve CEO was also busted and arrested because it was related with shell cyber activities on the internet. 2013, and it was a good year for us because and among cyber criminals, the sense of immunity or impunity is disappearing. Middle layer groups, gangsters, cyber criminals are getting more and more professional, are being promoted in the scale. They are having more and more money, little by little, and ironically, the green layer groups are getting fractured. There are some people are arrested in the third layer. In the green one, they are getting scared. They having trouble. One novelty. The big group gang cyber criminals are very self-sufficient. This makes difficult to investigate them since they are Gauzy. Gauzy is a very close group which has an integrated virus in their structure to analyze binaries. The Gauzy infrastructure was shut down and collapsed in 2013, and they created a shell crime service to detect binaries. This opened many doors because these groups are very close. They're getting new people inside, which is a new fissure or fracture in their groups. In 2013, the big punch against cybercrime is that the bonds of confidence disappear. Cybercrime is based upon bonds of confidence. Simulink arrested this person, worked with a lot of people by providing a lot of configurations. These groups turn out to be paranoid because they think that these people, Simulink people, was collaborating with the authorities, with the police, the enforcement law groups, and these fragmented Simulink. In the very end, these trigger some arrests, proliferation at blocks, and so on against these activists. There are many porn starts. We have talked about it. We have talked our favorite ones, and there are also insider researchers infiltrated in the very first two layers of the forums. They created a league. The cyber criminal industry is now more closed than ever. So let's now move on to the new trends at cybercrime. In 2013, we saw new trends based upon what we saw in our daily activities. Post-malware is now more popular, attacking the point of sales. Also, new mobile malware against the banks Trojans is more and more popular every day since 2010. Also, cryptocurrencies. Since last year, many groups has choose bonnets and all of this. Points of sales. Why is this more and more popular? We do think one of the main reasons for malware for point sales, which is existing for online, but in 2013 the point of sales is more and more popular. It's basically because since we don't have a sellable Trojan virus against banks, those malware people couldn't find any malware to work with, and they started using this malware. Citadel stopped giving support to their clients. Some Citadel's users are very integrated in the cybercrime scenario. They stopped having a banking Trojan, and they move on to this type of trend. So now let's move on to and finally, as among these guys, these villains against regarding point of sales pose, they have been categorized in different families of malware. It has been called the beauty, the bad, and the ugly. The beauty would be Lina Marward. This is Lena Vacario. This is the most moderated. Dexter malware is another malware pose, which is our cropper memories when you swipe a card credit for this mechanism. It captures everything and is reported to a panel of control where the cybercriminal can manipulate it at their whim. And the ugly guy, we is Black Pulse. Is because the company from I mentioned before, Eco, the news that this guy was arrested, and this was the author, the creator of Black Pulse from Russia, 17-year-old teenager. But the next day they have to rectify this article because they weren't 100% that they did it. But of course he did very bad things regarding the cybercrime. Now some snapshot of the Jackbox control panel, which represents the popularity of this kind of malware. Differentiates from the others in the cybercrime. In cybercrime, when something is a service, because it's very popular, there is a lot of demand. Here, the cyber criminals, when they pay for it, they obtain a website. And a password. They got into these websites and they upload the binary, which is undetectable for the antiviruses, and all the infrastructure is given by the service itself. We have also seen that it's more and more popular, the malware for mobile, along with banking Trojans. The first case, 2010, but it's since 2013 when new groups are adding extra configurations in the Trojans for banks or against banks. Now, there's somebody offering himself as a service. When something is offered as a service, it means that it's more and more popular. This is the banking control panel. Is malware against Android. It reports the contact agenda, the list of calls, and they are focused on SMSs to perform banking fraud. We have a snapshot of Perkele, which is almost the same as banking. The cybercriminals put the infrastructures and so on. We have the cryptocurrencies. Is a chart from Bitcoin. There is an uptrend. The cybercriminal saw an opportunity at business at the uptrend curve. We have a bonnet. This is a very particular one because it's about somebody performing banking fraud, and they have their own bonnet, criminal bonnet. They have approximately 1,040,000 bonnets. And hash rate, the hash rate is the potence you are being tested at a certain point, and the maximum hash rate in the last 30 minutes and in the last 24 hours. We can also say bonnets counters. It's not a banking Trojan bonnet because India or Romania are not usually used in the bank Trojans. The important thing is to have a very good GPU when bonnets is concerned. There's another important cryptocurrency, which is the Bitcoin. And the mines, we did and performed some calculations. And we calculate the whole thing with the maximum power of bonnets at a certain moment in time. Every day generated approximately 2,200 euros and 9,000 euros per week and 40,000 euros per month. And sometimes it can be slowly downwards, but it's the mean, the average for this bonnet every week, every month, and approximately 20,000 euros per month. This could be increased data, but this is very easy money for cyber criminals because they have a mule's infrastructure. It's difficult for the authorities, the police, to investigate minors' mules, but this is the way it is. This is the ransom evolution, the new trends of cybercrime, with a CryptoLocker. When a virus block half your computer, and they asked you to pay for disinfecting. And this malware now is encrypting the files, and they ask you to pay for disencrypting them. This is an automatic infrastructure. The cybercriminal has not to do anything because it's operating with other businesses, and CryptoLockers is generating extra income because the system detects you had paid, and whenever you are detected on the URL that you had paid, they give you everything. In 2013, it created approximately this 1,000 bitcoins. There you go. This is another example of target. Let's see some real examples about new trends. Let's see now the timeline of Brian's vision. Brian created a very detailed timeline. He wasn't at the incident. This person, and we concluded that this person have contacts gossipers for them to tell them about the blog be published. These are our remarks and our conclusions and our viewpoint about what could analyze about this case. All this data I'm going now to offer you, these are real analysis, is something checked by ourselves. So let's be as realistic as possible within what we can talk about. People from target. As a measure, after this publication, after this publishing, they created the most frequent questions. If I'm a target client, I'm affected, what can I do? And they give you some advice to follow. Let's start with the cartoons. I wrote a scenario taking the most of the target logo. In this scenario, you have the attacker internet and the machine exposed. This exposed is not compromised. According to the available information, the attacker makes the most of the credentials from some bonnet to access this machine. As you can see, bonnets in the very end are not only useful to steal money, but also to access accounts from corporations, from personal emails, and so on and so on. We can see that the attackers moves onto this computer to be the pivot. Once is in target's network, the attacker spends 3 days analyzing the whole infrastructure of target. When this guy discovered that inside this target's infrastructures there are TPU systems. When the attacker has made the discovery of the network, it deploys their virus, their whole thing, and this bag starts capturing the credit cards, which are in these TPUs. So after being provided with money and cards, this attacker goes out like a drone and goes back home with all the money. In Brian's timeline, this cyber criminal used Black Pose, the software, to commit card fraud. The reality is that it's not Black Pose. In reality, it's a malware which is not identified, using some similar patterns with certain fragments of the code from Black Pose. It was slightly similar, but it's not from Black Pose. So this information is manipulated, is inflated, and it doesn't give us nothing new. This is a real problem because for researchers investigating this breach, the law informers, people investigating on this issue, and myself as a researcher, we are giving some alerts to the criminals, and these have bad consequences. For instance, all the credit cards numbers captured, which are fragmented, sold as if it drag or hash, and they are delivered and distributed for different brands. I have a package of cards. You can buy them at the best bidding, and one of the preoccupations, we activate the paranoid mode. This researcher has spoken about so let's put on the firewall and some protection. So this triggers this bad feeling among the researchers, because we try to be as cautious as possible with the information we are releasing. So we are on our behalf very against of these journalists. I want to add that regarding target, this cyber criminal gang infecting this seminar is doing this. They are working for a credit card store and they are infecting several businesses by stealing the credit cards. This cyber criminal gang has the feeling of being immune. So they use the very same service to launch these attacks since 2012. When I'm saying the same service, I say the same IPS direction, which means that if you know these cybercriminals are doing this sense and there is to perform these attacks, it's a golden mine for a future investigation to identify them and arrest them. These servers were deleted the next day, but so let's not be clumsy about investigation. So don't give help to the cyber criminals. Don't tell them we are investigating on this area. Now, a short introduction about intelligence, because this investigation is not only about malware, it's also about going beyond the limits. We are also, we like to reverse bugs and the scriptures. We like investigating other players behind the malware, what the motivations, their motives are, political motivation, revengeance, APTs. Let's discover who are behind the scenes. Intelligence is a trendy topic where it's been this virtue, but it's not about selling a report. I'm selling you information for your company to get an advantage towards these threats. Is for us to clarify the concept. It's inside the intelligence. You can say, okay, you made up. To some extent it's like this, but we come with information. It has been analyzed and checked by us. So let's show you how the cybercriminal shells infrastructures are. This is another cartoon session. You can see a very similar scenario. You can see a bonnet, internet, and how this bonnet frees their internal malware through the different systems, and they infect different various equipments, and by sending their bugs, their viruses against us. In the very end, we know that this has their own repercussions in the very end. That's it. This is a basic infrastructure. There are hacked servers or USB servers. It's a very simple infrastructure, which is very easy for us to find out who is the player behind the scenes, or how these cyber criminals operate. It's the more basic infrastructures, matching layer 1 and 2. So regarding these cyber criminal gangs, we also have infrastructures which are slightly more professional, which introduce an intermediate proxy to make our investigation difficult. It's an extra layer of security they introduce to make our actions come. See, malware is moving around the internet, they get our money and prize. Bingo. We can also find another very similar infrastructure, and they say let's put on 2 more proxies because we are very, very, very heavy, and they operate the same way because we had found this kind of operating infrastructures. They add 2 extra security layers, they distribute the bug, they get our money out of us, and there you go. We also had flash fuse bonnets. Flash fuse are like banking Trojan and the bonnet. So the flash fuse have their own IPs. It can be infected users or hacked service. If you resolve this service, you can get 5 to 6 IPs, and new IPs are coming down. This is a protection to protect the IP of bagging and never suffer a takedown. We also have a FlaxFuse variant which incorporates a proxy inside in the middle. Why should you put another proxy if you are protecting the bucket? Because if they are hack server with this FlaxFuse, you can also access the FlaxFuse system. You can contact the authorities for them to contact the user, and you can get the IP from the proxy in this very case. It has not been reported until now, but it will be released. There are FlaxFuse bonnets which are shared, different banking traders are using the Flaxfoot bonnet. They are sharing the Flaxfoot bonnet. These very same groups is not having two different bonnets. It's not correct. It's a Flaxfoot service. Through the proxy, they have the domains from every client or customer. When there is a request about this, they know that this belongs to one of the players of the bonnet it's themselves. A bonnet is requesting another domain from another client is sent to the other bucket. This is the service itself. We also have another infrastructures, as you can see on screen, the double services. The double hosters are hosting solutions for the cyber criminal people. Here, it depends on the host. They set up infrastructures with buckets and the IPs exposed are those and the UPNs not from the bucket. The bucket never suffer a takedown. It's only on the first layer. Many people ask me bunnies in the servers are in data centers in the middle of the sea or in the strange countries. No, they are in hosting like LazyWare and so on. The bonnet, the IP from the bonnet is never exposed with the bot, so it never suffered a takedown. We also have proprietary infrastructures at bonnets, which are very complicated. It's very difficult for us to get their guts open. These bonnets are been working for a long time. There are long-term bonnets working since 2004, since 2005. We may speak about this infrastructure for 1 hour. The very first layer where the bot reports is the blue one. It's a UPS receiving traffic with an IP channel connected to another UPN server connected to the buckets. The blue server has one per bucket. It's difficult for me to explain the functionality. So every bucket is what they do is they check the blue part, which is the IP channel, the UPS, if it has connectivity, and you sign up for a blacklist. If it's detected automatically, they deleted the server from the database, and the database they have 100 UPS to be used. They sent them automatic configuration, and it started working. Depending on the motivation or motive for changes, they send an update to the bonnet for them to know that this server has changed. It's useful because they have an automatic service that changes all the things at the moment. We also have peer-to-peer infrastructures. These bonnets are zero access and zeros to peers. I will get focused on what we don't talk on the reports. For one bot to be a super node, one of the main features is that this bot has to have a public IP, not an ad. If one of these networks don't have an IP on the interface, it doesn't happen anything because the players on these bonnets, they go to the hostings, they contact Windows servers, they infect them, and it's a server infecting the bonnet, sending the configurations for the new peer-to-peer bots. Another thing we didn't comment it on. Very quickly, in a peer-to-peer network, there is a proxy collecting all the data from the peer-to-peer network and changes to IPP requests. Everybody knows Tor. Tor is used for fraud through clicking with little connectivity. Basically speaking, we are running out of time. We still have still 10 minutes. Let's demo. Let's infect a system with external malware. I will swipe my credit card because Fran didn't want to swipe his. So we have the reader. We're going to get infected by sweeping my credit card. How this my credit card reports to the bonnet, because I don't want my credit card data captured by this bonnet. Let's start with the demo.
Vamos a trolearla un poco, ¿no? Sí, voy a conectarlo.
¿Sí?
Me estoy poniendo la petaca.
Let's just start it. I'm putting the microphone as software TV presenter. It's lovely. It's lovely. Can we change the laptop, please?
Vale, esto hay que tocarlo.
Desconecta la batería, si no.
Bueno, parece que me está troleando ahora el portátil.
That my laptop is not working properly. Let's see if I can get fixed. Is it real that the sign is not on screen? Is it signaling? If I can't explain it to you, okay, this software we have an MSS 2006 given by the police, by the officials. Is a reader which records the credit cards. Is the cyber criminal begins by this reader, of credit cards, FN.
Ups. Bueno,
Okie dokie. You have to buy. You have to believe it. I'm gonna turn down the laptop. You're gonna see it in a tiny way. This software is the jack. This software reads this data and allows them to be recorded with a special driver, which has to be set up and configured for this kind of devices. This is going to be set up. You can see a green LED in reading mode now. Let's swipe our credit card, but being very first infected by the bug, let's make sure that we are on the internet. If not, it would be strange that my car wouldn't be stolen later on. We can check that it's working properly. Should I turn on the chill out music again? No? Okie dokie. There you go. Can you see it? There you go. My god, my god, my god. There you go. One coin, one coin. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm dancing on stage. Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna sit down like a lady. Okay, we have Dexter, a bug, which is the postgrad. This from the operating system memory. It captures the track 1 and track 2. It's a malware executable in the operating system. It eliminates itself when infected, and it avoids being eliminated by another malware. You didn't see that it's been deleted itself. It is deleted. Like I said, we changed the status of my credit card with a sticker on it for my bank not to be angry with me. I will swipe the credit bank card, and the pilot is on green, and my data is on the memory of the infected equipment. I put a sniffer. I took the IP, the directory from the gate. The gate is the file configured by the cyber criminal on their control panel while they report the status. You start seeing my ass. And let's move on to the laptop. Here we previously have detected the control panel, and we are asked to give them this an authentication. Let's put it in the screen. They access the authentication. Obviously, we don't know this authentication since we are such a villain guys from time to time. Okay, we got it. What did we do? We prepare a small exploit to burst out this control panel and recover my credit card. Of course, I'm gonna leave it there. And we found in this gateway used by the cyber criminals, is developed by an intern, because it usually has a lot of breaches and fissures. It's a SQL injection. I can tell you later on. Basically speaking, when we execute this, is looking at me. Okie dokie, let's move on. I heard you singing.
Vaya.
Oh, they may have parched my credit card. Oh, bullshit. Oh, don't plop them. Don't not the process for them. Go 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 go. I got it. Here we go.
O sea, uno de esos, ¿no?
Sí.
Vale.
No, tío.
Nobody. Do we have internet? Because this server is outside. Do you have an old version of this server showing the mistakes, failures? Okay, it's a bit strange. This Zen mood, Buddhist mood, because it feels like I'm going to lose my credit card. Please, last try, last test. Here, my privacy will be protected. You don't have to see my privacy on screen. You have to know that this because I'm very sleepy. I had a party last night and I slept very few little hours last minute changes.
Claro, tienes por SSH, ¿no?
Vamos a ver.
Vale, copia todo esto. Sí.
Copy your text, but this is not what is failing. This is the password. Am I correct? All of this. Copy all of this. Here we go. Delete this, please. And type in a different. Type in asterisk. Delete. Pushers. Brackets. This way, please. One. There you go. Okie dokie. I'm not gonna show you the execution because it's a bit nasty. We'll make it lose a lot of time. The rooted is out of the quirk and dirty. Okay, my password. I got slightly nervous. I'm gonna delete this card. Afterwards, outside, I will show you how this exploit works. Let's get connected. And in fact, you can see it, sorry. But you can see there is a dead river in green, which means that this computer is connected to the internet and is reporting my card to the control panel. You can see the user, blah, 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 blah. Oh my goodness, it's specking around, my goodness. And now you can see the dams. Here are the dams. We can see machines without DAN, which means that the cards have not been swiped now. But move on here, and we can see now my credit card, the Manu guy, this villain, and they got my credit card number. I'm scared to that now, and I deleted the whole database at the same time. I sweep it off. totally, because they don't want this database for anything, of course. There you go. There goes. I wanna thank my companies, the law enforcement groups, officers, police officers, for having given us devices to scan cars, because we wanted to buy these devices, because otherwise the law enforcement bodies would appear at my car, at my house, to arrest me. Thank you, Rooted.com people, and you, the guests, participants, for having staying with me all the time, and for these little nitty-gritty issues, inconveniences. But in the very end, it was great. Thank you very much.
Aquí.
Hola.
Hola. Teniendo en cuenta que tenéis acceso a la base de datos...
Taking into account that you have access to the database, isn't it? Well, we've seen the control panel. So taking that into account, can't you troll how many people have like false identity? Well, it is better fun. Yes, well, I don't know, we could change the names, or, well, we could do it later on if you want, outside the room. I'm sure Caesar or some people around, well, don't mind doing that. Well, the thing is that the guy does not really mind. You know, he just changes the server, puts it in a different place, and that's it. He doesn't care. So it is better, you know, to do what we do, you know, rather than saying you have a problem, fix it. And what about, you know, introducing credit cards that you have already shared with the law enforcement agencies from many countries for to make tracking easier? Yes, that could be an idea. Well, often that is shared with banks, okay? Not that much with governments. But yes, that could be a good idea. Hello. First of all, congratulations for your talk. Very interesting. So when you talked about fast flags shared between different bots, how do you know which is the bot that is communicating? By the host name, okay, by the address that you have on the control panel. Fast flags, well, just forwards what it gets, often through a proxy, and then by the domain, because this is often a service. And when you hire the service, they give you domains for you to put them to the bot, and then that domain is re-forwarded to the backend. Okay, did you get it? Yes, thank you. Well, because you do intelligence in this topic, have you tried to change the HTML of the application of the evil guy, let us say, to get information as to when he connects the search engine that he used, trying to find out to obtain his IP address through several tricks? That's a good idea, but we are oversaturated, we are overloaded with work. We don't really want to waste time. Well, we gather data, some intelligence, but depending on whether the threat is bigger or smaller, and we report that. We report it. Well, we haven't done it ourselves, but I know people who's done it. Hello, thank you for your talk, really entertaining. My question is, what happens with the legality of doing this by attacking websites without permission. Well, perhaps some servers do not authorize those attacks. Well, I'm glad that you are asking me that question. Thank you. Next question, please. Well, at the end of the day, well, in intel issues, people do that. Well, criminals will not report you to police, so we are just doing statistical, well, gathering statistical data. I don't know if I'm answering or not, to be honest. But that's a really good question. Thank you to you all.